All right, as mentioned yesterday, the Rage Cage mixtape celebrating. This all beats I made in the 90s, early to mid 90s, and all the rhymes captured to celebrate that time and talk about that time and even the styles, a lot of battle rhymes, all that. And I think the plan is for every song to do two posts, one post about what it was and then what it became. And also, because I'm dramatic, I for this campaign of this whole month, I did 20 unique t-shirts to tell the story. This actually is a misprint. There's a real one coming later. But these are all groups who are part of my Rage Productions, who I talk about a lot. And on the first song, on the second verse, I give shout outs to the full crew. This is part of it. There's four shirts of these to break down the crew. But today's focus is right here on Black Toast. But first, the song. This is one of the few songs on the record, the mixtape, that I kept the original title from back then because of the hook from Special Ed in there. And the beat is made, like I said, I just got my SB12. And so I was beat jacking, learning how to do this stuff. And one of my biggest production influence to be creative and really want to lean into being a better producer is DJ Pooh. I just really love the way he thought about beats and little things he did. And I kind of discovered it one day with headphones listening to Act a Fool in like 88, 89 when I first got that record. And so he was an inspiration. And this came from a track called Play Like a Piano by King T. I was also a huge King T fan. The song features Ice Cube and also features Breeze. And I was a huge Breeze fan. I have this thing that he only did a handful of features, but every time he raps with somebody, he pretty much always is the best verse. Maybe one questionable song, but even then I would say that Breeze is always the best on the track. So shout out Breeze. And that's the kind of the foundation of the beat. And then there's some jazz and blues samples on top of that. This is the SB12 5-second sample time. So I would speed things up and push as much as I could and then do some things manually. So anything slightly off beat, I'm doing it manually. So and the jazz and blues records, because at the time I was living with Black Man Zeke and his pops. And his dad and his pops had this collection of records he let me dig into, and I would sample from those jazz and blues records with his collection. So that gave me a different sound for what I was doing in this time frame for the beats. And then there's a scratch by the DBL crew from New Jersey, who's a group I heard on WNUR. So that's part of my Lake County story too, because that was like the one way I could hear new rap songs was from WNUR, living in Lake County. That's the only station we could get from Chicago that played rap. So that's all how that beat came together. The group Black Toast, and I didn't realize this till I went back to my journal. There's a guy called DJ Ice, who was a local DJ, and he had a partner. Actually, yeah, I got the business card right here. They had RSP for their DJ business, DJ Ice and DJ Remix. And I knew Remix also, real name Cisco, because I worked with his two sisters at McDonald's, which I'll speak about because the first thing I say is about me working at McDonald's on this mixtape. And I worked with Delia and Connie and their friend Denise at McDonald's. And so those were my homegirls. We would hang out and kick it. So I know Cisco from that and DJ Ice from that as well. And I kept a journal, so I know exact dates for a lot of this stuff. July 10th, 1991, DJ Ice, I ran into him, I believe, at Lakehurst Mall, and he told me he had an MC named Showboat he wanted to bring to the studio. He had been to my studio a few times already with DBI, who was the first group to join Rage Productions besides my group Wild Style. And he was their DJ for DBI on their later demos. So I have a few demos with DBI where he's doing the cuts. So he knew I had the home studio and that anyone was welcome to come record. So he wanted to bring this guy Showboat. But nothing ever happened from that. He said it, I wrote it down, and then I don't remember anything else about that. But 3 months later, on October 3rd, 91, I ran into Black Toast, I believe also at Lakehurst Mall. And they were like, hey, we're Black. They knew who I was because I was a local person on the scene doing stuff, home studio, performing, battling, all that. And that if you want to come to your studio and make a song. So I was like, cool, anyone can come. Here's where it is. Come. And a week later, October 10th, they came over for the first time. And I made this, they had a song called Scandalous. And this was like 10/10. I just got my SP12 on August 23rd. And so I only had it for like less than 2 months. I was still learning. So that beat, it's like I made a lot of mistakes. Things are not syncing up properly. I was still learning, but the song is dope. And I remember I wrote in my journal, like right away, I asked them to join the crew and they were I wrote, they're instant favorites of mine. I love working with these guys, and I want to do a lot of music with them. They just really had this unique approach, showboat and slow-mo. And when I also forgot, the first day they came with my guy, Coop. Coop just passed away last month. So rest in peace, Coop. He lived up on what we call the hill. That's what my guy, Vernon. Vernon was the guy for the first rap group I had in Illinois was Rose Productions, was started by Vernon, a.k.a. Deftone, a.k.a. The Guillotine. He lived over there. It was Vernon. Down the street was L.A., my partner in Wild Style, who I met through Vernon. And then there was like Michelle and Angie, who were my homegirls. And then Coop was over there too. So Coop was one of those guys that I would see him walking over there at my boombox, and he would hear my rhymes first. I would like, I got these new verses, check them out. I got this new demo. So Coop was one of the people who heard a lot of my stuff first. So I imagine he must have been the one, I can't remember, but I'm assuming he's the one that told Black Toast about me. So he came with them when I made that beat for Scandalous. The next day they came and laid the vocals, and it was pretty much official. They're part of the crew.